The morning sun painted the small mud house in golden light, but inside, darkness filled every corner. Mama Adama's hands shook as she held the white cloth. Not the graduation dress she had sewn with love and hope, but burial clothes that smelled of tears and broken dreams. "My daughter," she whispered, her voice cracking like dry leaves. "My beautiful daughter." Adama lay still on the woven mat, her eyes closed forever. Her school uniform was folded neatly beside her. The same uniform she should have worn to take her final exams today. The same uniform that would have carried her dreams of becoming a doctor, just like she had promised her mother. But instead of celebration songs filling the air, the sound of wailing voices echoed through the village. Women wrapped in colorful cloths gathered outside, their heads covered in grief. The men stood in small groups, shaking their heads and whispering about curses and bad luck. "She was supposed to save us all," Mama Adama sobbed, holding her daughter's cold hand. "She was our hope, our light in this darkness." The irony was cruel and sharp. Today was supposed to be the most important day of Adama's life. Today, she should have been walking to the examination hall with her head held high, ready to prove that a poor girl from the village could rise above her circumstances. Today should have been the beginning of their escape from poverty. Instead, today had become the end of everything. But how did they get here? How did a brilliant 17-year-old girl, the pride of her village and the hope of her family, end up dressed for burial on the most important day of her academic life? The answer lay in a secret so dark, so shameful, that it had cost Adama everything she held dear. 3 months earlier, the dry season had been especially harsh. The rains had failed, and the crops had withered in the fields. Mama Adama's small trading business, selling tomatoes and peppers in the market, had nearly collapsed. They had no money for school fees, no money for food, and certainly no money for the examination fees that would allow Adama to take her final exams. "Mama, don't worry," Adama had said, her bright eyes full of determination. "I will find a way. I promise you, I will not let our dreams die." Adama was not like other girls her age. While her friends spent their time braiding each other's hair and gossiping about boys, Adama buried herself in her books. She read by candlelight when the sun went down, and she woke before dawn to study before helping her mother in the market. She was brilliant. Everyone said so. Her teachers called her a genius. The village elders spoke of her with pride. Even the wealthy families in town knew about the poor girl who could solve mathematics problems that made university students cry. But brilliance without money is like a lamp without oil, it cannot shine. "Teacher Julius can help you," her best friend Chioma had whispered one afternoon as they walked home from school. "I heard he helps students who cannot pay their fees." "But," Chioma's voice dropped to barely a whisper, "they say he wants something in return." Adama's stomach had twisted with unease, but she pushed the feeling away. She was desperate. Her mother had already sold her jewelry, her husband's tools, even the goats that provided their milk. There was nothing left to sell except their dignity. "What kind of help?" Adama had asked, though part of her already knew the answer. "You know what kind," Chioma had replied, unable to meet her eyes. "But maybe it's worth it? If it means you can take your exams and go to university." That evening, Adama had stared at the ceiling of their small house, listening to her mother cough in the next room. Mama had been getting weaker, working too hard and eating too little so that Adama could have more food. The weight of responsibility pressed down on her chest like a heavy stone. Teacher Julius was a respected man in the community. He was educated, well-dressed, and drove a car luxuries that most people in their village could only dream of. He was also married with children, and he was nearly 40 years old. But he had a reputation that mothers whispered about and fathers warned their daughters against. The next day, Adama had stayed after class, her heart pounding like drums in her chest. "Sir," she had said, her voice barely above a whisper, "I need to talk to you about my examination fees." Teacher Julius had looked up from his papers, a slow smile spreading across his face. It was not the kind smile of a teacher proud of his student. It was the smile of a predator who had caught the scent of prey. "Ah, Adama," he had said, standing up and moving closer to her desk. I was wondering when you would come to see me. I know your situation is difficult. Yes, sir. My mother cannot afford the fees. But I am willing to work, to do anything, to earn the money. Anything? Teacher Julius had asked, and the way he said it made Adama's skin crawl. But she had nodded because what choice did she have? There is a way, he had said, walking to the door and locking it. But it requires trust between us. Complete trust. And so the devil's bargain was struck. Teacher Julius had promised to pay not only her examination fees but also to help her get into the best university in the country. He had connections, he said. He could open doors that would otherwise remain closed to a poor village girl. All she had to do was meet him 3 times a week after school. All she had to do was keep their arrangement secret. All she had to do was surrender her innocence piece by piece. This is our secret, he had told her after their first encounter, his hand heavy on her shoulder as she tried not to cry. If anyone finds out, your dreams of university will be over. Your mother will be ashamed. The village will never forgive you. But if you stay quiet and do as I say, you will have everything you ever wanted. Adama had nodded, hating herself but seeing no other way forward. She told herself it was temporary. She told herself it was a sacrifice worth making. She told herself that her future success would wash away the shame. She had no idea that her secret would soon grow into something that would destroy not only her dreams but her very life. For weeks, the arrangement continued. Adama would attend her regular classes, participate in group studies, and help her mother in the market, all while carrying the heavy burden of her shame. She became quiet and withdrawn, but everyone assumed it was because she was nervous about her upcoming exams. Her mother noticed the change but attributed it to stress. My daughter works too hard, she would tell the neighbors. But soon, all her hard work will pay off. Soon, she will be a doctor, and we will never be poor again. If only Mama Adama had known the real price her daughter was paying for their dreams. The first sign that something was terribly wrong came on a Tuesday morning in November. Adama woke up feeling sick to her stomach. She thought it was just examination nerves, but when the feeling persisted for several days, a cold dread began to settle in her heart. She had heard the stories. She knew what could happen when a young woman made the kind of arrangement she had made with Teacher Julius. But she pushed the thought away, telling herself it couldn't be true. It wouldn't happen to her. God wouldn't be so cruel. But God, it seemed, had other plans. 2 weeks before her final examinations were scheduled to begin, Adama's worst fears were confirmed. She was pregnant. The realization hit her like a physical blow. She sat in the school toilet, staring at the test strip she had bought with her lunch money, and felt her entire world crumble around her. She was 17 years old, unmarried, and carrying the child of a man old enough to be her father. In her conservative village, this was more than just a scandal. It was a catastrophe that would destroy not only her life but her family's reputation forever. But the worst part wasn't even the pregnancy itself. The worst part was what she knew she would have to tell Teacher Julius. That afternoon, she waited for him in the empty classroom, her hands shaking and her mouth dry as sand. "Sir," she had whispered when he arrived, locking the door behind him as always. "We have a problem." Teacher Julius had listened to her confession with growing anger. His face had darkened like storm clouds, and when she finished speaking, he had slammed his hand on the desk so hard that she jumped. "How could you be so careless?" he had hissed. "Do you know what this means? Do you understand what you have done?" "Sir, I didn't mean for this to happen. Maybe we can." "No," he had interrupted, pacing back and forth like a caged animal. "There is no we in this situation. This is your problem, and you will deal with it. But sir, you promised to help me with university. You said that was before you became pregnant with another man's child." Adama's heart had stopped. "Another man's child? But sir, you know that you are the only." Teacher Julius had turned to face her, his eyes cold as stones. "Are you accusing me of something, Adama? Because if you are, I should remind you that I am a respected teacher and a married man. Who do you think people will believe, me or a desperate girl from the slums? The threat was clear, and Adama had understood immediately. If she tried to expose him, he would deny everything and destroy her reputation completely. She would lose everything and gain nothing. What am I supposed to do? She had asked, tears streaming down her face. That is not my concern, Teacher Julius had replied coldly. But I will give you one piece of advice. If I were you, I would find a solution to this problem quickly and quietly. Because if this scandal becomes public, you will never take your examinations, you will never go to university, and your mother will die of shame. He had left her alone in the classroom, sobbing and broken, with nowhere to turn and no one to help her. That night, Adama had lain awake staring at the ceiling, her mind racing through impossible choices. She could tell her mother the truth, but the shock might literally kill her. Mama's heart was already weak from years of worry and hard work. She could run away, but where would she go with no money and no skills beyond her intelligence? She could try to find the father of another child to claim as the baby's father, but she was known throughout the village as a serious, studious girl who had never even been seen talking to boys her age. Every option led to disaster. But there was one solution that whispered to her from the darkest corner of her mind. One way to solve all her problems at once, to spare her mother the shame, to preserve the family's hopes and dreams. One final, terrible choice that would end her suffering forever. As the examination date drew closer and her pregnancy began to show, Adama made her decision. She had failed everyone who had ever believed in her. She had become exactly the kind of girl she had sworn never to be. She had destroyed not only her own future but her mother's dreams as well. On the night before her examinations were scheduled to begin, Adama had written a letter to her mother, sealed it carefully, and hidden it under her pillow. Then she had taken the bottle of pesticide from the small storage room where her mother kept the supplies for their tiny garden. She had looked at herself in the small, cracked mirror hanging on the wall and whispered an apology to the baby growing inside her. An innocent child who would now never have the chance to experience either the joy or the pain of life. I'm sorry, she had whispered to her reflection. I'm sorry I wasn't strong enough. I'm sorry I wasn't good enough. I'm sorry for all of it. And then she had raised the bottle to her lips. Now, as Mama Adama dressed her daughter's lifeless body for burial instead of graduation, the cruel irony of the situation was almost too much to bear. The girl who should have been their salvation had become their greatest tragedy. But hidden under Adama's pillow, waiting to be discovered, was a letter that would reveal the truth behind her death. A truth so shocking that it would shake the entire village to its foundation. As the women outside began to sing the burial songs and the men prepared to dig the grave, no one yet knew that Adama's story was far from over. No one yet knew that her death would expose secrets that would destroy lives and reveal the dark truth about the man who had been trusted to educate their children. No one yet knew that sometimes, even in death, justice finds a way to speak. The examination hall stood empty that morning, with one vacant seat that should have belonged to the brightest student the village had ever produced. Instead of the sound of pencils scratching against paper and dreams being written into reality, there was only silence. But in that silence, a storm was brewing that would soon engulf everyone who had played a part in Adama's tragedy. The letter under her pillow was about to be found, and when it was read aloud, the truth would finally set her spirit free, even as it destroyed the lives of those who had betrayed her. Her mother's tears were just the beginning. The discovery came by accident, as most life-changing moments do. Mama Adama was preparing to wash her daughter's bedding, the final act of a mother's love before letting go forever. Her hands moved slowly, carefully, as if rushing might somehow make the loss more real. She lifted the thin pillow that had cradled Adama's head through 17 years of dreams and nightmares. That's when she felt it, the crinkle of paper. "What is this?" she whispered to herself, her voice hoarse from crying. Her trembling fingers found the edge of an envelope, carefully hidden and sealed with a drop of candle wax. On the front, in Adama's neat handwriting, were the words, "For Mama, the truth about everything." Mama Adama's heart began to race. She looked around the small room as if Adama might suddenly appear and explain what this meant. But there was only silence and the lingering scent of the flowers the village women had brought for the burial. With shaking hands, she broke the wax seal and pulled out 3 sheets of paper covered in her daughter's familiar writing. As her eyes moved across the first line, the world seemed to tilt beneath her feet. "My dearest Mama," the letter began. "If you are reading this, then I am gone, and you are wondering why your daughter chose death over life. Please sit down before you continue, because what I am about to tell you will break your heart even more than my death already has." Mama Adama sank onto the small wooden stool beside the bed, her legs suddenly unable to support her weight. Her hands shook so violently that the paper rattled like leaves in the wind. "I did not die from sickness or accident, Mama. I chose to leave this world because I could not face the shame of what I had done. I was pregnant, Mama, pregnant with the child of a man who destroyed my innocence and then abandoned me when I needed him most." The letter fell from Mama Adama's hands as she gasped, her eyes wide with shock and disbelief. Pregnant? Her pure, innocent daughter? The girl who had never even looked at boys, who spent all her time studying and dreaming of becoming a doctor. With trembling fingers, she picked up the letter and continued reading. "The father is teacher Julius Okafor. Yes, Mama, the same man we trusted to educate me. The same man the whole village respects. The same man who is married with children of his own." Mama Adama's vision blurred with tears and rage. Teacher Julius? The man she had thanked countless times for helping her daughter excel in school? The man she had invited to their home for dinner, treating him like a member of the family? He promised to pay my examination fees if I would meet him alone after school. He said he would help me get into university. He said this was normal, that successful students always had to make sacrifices. I believed him because I trusted him, and because we were so desperate. The letter continued, detailing the months of abuse, the threats, and finally the pregnancy that had driven Adama to despair. With each word, Mama Adama's grief transformed into something harder and more dangerous. A mother's fury at the man who had destroyed her child. When I told him about the baby, he denied everything. He said people would never believe me over him. He was right, Mama. Who would believe a poor village girl against a respected teacher? So I decided to take the shame with me to the grave. But I could not let you blame yourself for my death. You were the best mother any girl could ask for. None of this was your fault. Mama Adama was sobbing now, clutching the letter to her chest. Her daughter had faced this nightmare alone, too ashamed to ask for help, too afraid to trust even her own mother with the truth. Please don't try to seek revenge, Mama. It will only bring more pain to our family. Just remember me as the daughter who loved you more than life itself, and who wanted nothing more than to make you proud. The letter was signed with Adama's name and a small heart, the way she had signed her school papers since she was a little girl. But there was more. At the bottom of the last page, in different handwriting, was a postscript that made Mama Adama's blood run cold. If anything happens to me, look under the loose floorboard beside my bed. There you will find proof of what Teacher Julius did to me and to other girls. I was not his first victim, and I will not be his last unless someone stops him. Hey! With desperate energy born of rage and grief, Mama Adama fell to her knees and began pulling at the floorboards. Her fingernails broke and her knuckles bled, but she didn't stop until she found the loose board Adama had mentioned. Underneath, wrapped in a plastic bag, was a small notebook and several photographs. The notebook contained dates, times, and detailed accounts of every encounter between Adama and Teacher Julius. It was written like a diary, but it read like evidence in a court case. Adama had documented everything with the precision of the brilliant student she was. But it was the photographs that truly shocked Mama Adama. They showed Teacher Julius with other girls, young students in their school uniforms, looking uncomfortable and afraid. Some of the girls were from their village. Others she recognized from neighboring communities. At the bottom of the pile was a photograph that made her gasp out loud. It showed Teacher Julius's car parked behind the old church on the outskirts of town. Through the back window, 2 figures could be clearly seen, a man and a young girl in a school uniform. The girl was Chioma, Adama's best friend. Mama Adama's hands began to shake even more violently. If Chioma was also one of Teacher Julius's victims, did that mean she knew about what was happening to Adama? Had she been too afraid to help her friend? Or worse, had she been the one who told Adama about Teacher Julius's arrangements in the first place? The questions multiplied in her mind like termites eating away at wood. How many other girls had suffered in silence? How many other families had lost their daughters to this monster's appetite? And how long had the community been blind to what was happening right under their noses? But as Mama Adama sat surrounded by the evidence of her daughter's abuse, she realized something that chilled her to the bone. Adama had been wrong about one thing in her letter. She had asked her mother not to seek revenge. But some evils cannot be allowed to continue unchallenged. Some monsters must be stopped, no matter the cost. The burial ceremony was scheduled to begin in 3 hours. The entire village would be there to pay their respects to the girl they believed had died tragically young. Teacher Julius would probably be there too, playing the role of the grief-stricken educator mourning his brightest student. But Mama Adama had different plans. She carefully replaced the evidence under the floorboard and hid Adama's letter in the folds of her wrapper. Then she walked to her small wooden chest and pulled out something she had hoped never to use again. Her late husband's hunting knife, the one he had used to protect their family from wild animals and dangerous men. The blade was still sharp after all these years. As she wrapped the knife in cloth and secured it to her waist beneath her burial dress, Mama Adama made a vow to her daughter's memory. Teacher Julius might have thought he could destroy an innocent girl and walk away without consequences. But he had underestimated the fury of a mother's love. The burial would proceed as planned, but it would not end as anyone expected. Justice, Mama Adama decided, would be served along with the funeral food. But first, she needed to pay a visit to someone else. Someone who might have answers to the questions burning in her heart. Someone who had been Adama's closest friend and might know more about Teacher Julius's other victims. Chioma lived just 2 compounds away with her grandmother. As Mama Adama walked through the dusty paths between the houses, she noticed how quiet the village had become. Everyone was preparing for the burial, cooking food and preparing songs of mourning. They had no idea that before the sun set, their peaceful community would be shaken to its very foundation. Mama Adama found Chioma sitting under the old mango tree behind her grandmother's house, braiding the hair of a younger girl. When Chioma saw her approaching, she immediately stood up and began to cry. "Mama Adama," she sobbed, running to embrace the older woman. "I'm so sorry about Adama. She was my best friend. I don't understand why she would do such a thing." But as Mama Adama looked into the girl's eyes, she saw something that made her heart sink. There was guilt there, and fear, and the same haunted look she had seen in her daughter's eyes during the final months of her life. "Chioma," Mama Adama said quietly, "I need you to tell me the truth about Teacher Julius." The young girl's face went pale, and she stepped backward as if she had been slapped. I don't know what you mean, Mama." "Yes, you do." Mama Adama's voice was gentle but firm. "And if you lie to me now, you will be dishonoring Adama's memory and allowing other girls to suffer the same fate." Chioma burst into fresh tears and collapsed onto her knees in the red dirt. "I'm sorry," she wailed. "I'm so sorry. I wanted to help her, but I was too scared. He said he would destroy my future if I told anyone." The confession poured out of her like water from a broken dam. Yes, she had been one of Teacher Julius's victims. Yes, she had been the one to tell Adama about the arrangement. Not to harm her friend, but because she was desperate for someone else to share the burden of shame. I thought if Adama was there too, maybe we could help each other. Maybe we could find a way to stop him together. But he was so smart, so careful. He made sure we never talked about it, never compared stories. He kept us separated and afraid. Mama Adama helped the sobbing girl to her feet. "How many others, Chioma? How many other girls?" "I don't know for sure, but I've seen at least 5 others going to meet him after school. And there are rumors, stories from other villages. They say he was transferred here from his last posting because of similar rumors, but nothing was ever proven. The picture was becoming clearer now, and it was even more horrifying than Mama Adama had imagined. Teacher Julius was not just an opportunistic predator. He was a serial abuser who had been preying on vulnerable girls for years, possibly decades. And the authorities had simply moved him from place to place rather than stopping him permanently. "Chioma," Mama Adama said, "I want you to go home and stay there until after the burial. Don't go anywhere alone, and don't talk to Teacher Julius if he approaches you. Do you understand?" The girl nodded frantically. "But Mama Adama, what are you going to do?" Mama Adama's hand moved instinctively to the knife hidden beneath her wrapper. "I'm going to make sure he never hurts another girl again." As she walked back toward her house to prepare for the burial ceremony, Mama Adama's mind was crystal clear for the first time since finding her daughter's body. The grief was still there, crushing and overwhelming, but it had been joined by something stronger purpose. The village was gathering for what they thought would be a simple funeral, but they were about to witness something that would be talked about for generations to come. The bells of the small church began to ring, calling the community to say goodbye to their brightest star. But before this day was over, they would learn that sometimes the darkest secrets hide behind the most respected faces. And they would discover that a mother's love, when twisted by grief and fury, can become the most dangerous force in the world. As Mama Adama entered her house to put on her burial clothes, she whispered a promise to her daughter's spirit. "Rest easy, my child. Your death will not be in vain. Before the sun sets today, everyone will know the truth, and justice will finally be served." The knife felt heavy against her hip, but her heart felt lighter than it had since the nightmare began. Teacher Julius had no idea that his final lesson was about to begin. The sun stood high in the sky when the entire village gathered in the small clearing behind the church. Everyone came, the old women with their walking sticks, the young mothers carrying babies on their backs, the men in their best shirts, and the children who had been Adama's classmates. They came to say goodbye to the girl who had been their pride and joy. They came with flowers picked from their gardens and songs learned from their grandmothers. They came with heavy hearts and memories of a bright smile that would never light up their village again. But most importantly, they came unprepared for what was about to unfold. Mama Adama sat in the front row, dressed in black cloth that seemed to absorb all the light around her. Her face was calm, almost peaceful, but those who looked closely could see something burning in her eyes, something that had nothing to do with grief and everything to do with justice. Beside her sat other family members who had traveled from distant villages. Behind them, the entire community arranged itself in respectful rows, whispering prayers and sharing memories of Adama's kindness and intelligence. The wooden coffin sat under a canopy of white flowers, looking impossibly small for someone who had carried such big dreams. The village pastor, an elderly man with kind eyes, stood ready to begin the ceremony that would send Adama to her final rest. But first, he was waiting for one more person to arrive. "We should begin soon," whispered one of the church elders. "The sun is getting too hot, and the food will spoil if we wait much longer." Pastor Emmanuel nodded, but his eyes kept scanning the crowd. Teacher Julius sent word that he would be here. Adama was one of his best students. "I think we should wait a few more minutes out of respect." Mama Adama's hand tightened on the small bag in her lap, the bag that contained her daughter's letter and several of the photographs she had found under the floorboard. The knife remained hidden beneath her wrapper, its weight a constant reminder of the promise she had made. "There he is," someone called out, and heads turned to see a black car pulling up near the church. Teacher Julius stepped out, dressed in an expensive dark suit and polished shoes that probably cost more than most families in the village earned in a month. He walked toward the gathering with the confident stride of a respected man paying his respects to a fallen student. His face wore an expression of appropriate sadness, and he carried a large wreath of expensive flowers that he placed beside the coffin with a dramatic flourish. "My deepest condolences," he said to Mama Adama, reaching out to shake her hand. Adama was truly special. Such a tragic loss for our entire community. Mama Adama looked up at him. This man who had destroyed her daughter's innocence and driven her to death, and felt a coldness settle over her heart like ice on a winter morning. "Yes," she replied quietly. "It is indeed a tragic loss, but not for the reasons you think." Something in her tone made Teacher Julius pause, but before he could respond, Pastor Emmanuel was calling for the ceremony to begin. "Brothers and sisters," the pastor's voice rang out across the gathering, "we are here today to celebrate the life of Adama Akwu, a young woman who brought joy and pride to our community. Though her time with us was short, her impact will be remembered for generations to come." The crowd murmured agreement, and several people wiped away tears. In the school section, Adama's former classmates held each other and sobbed openly. They had lost not just a friend, but the living proof that children from their village could rise above poverty and achieve greatness. "Before we commit her body to the earth," Pastor Emmanuel continued, "I would like to invite anyone who wishes to share memories of Adama to speak. Let us celebrate her life and the dreams she carried for all of us." One by one, people stood to speak. The headmaster talked about her academic achievements. A neighbor shared a story about how Adama had helped teach her younger children to read. Even some of the wealthy people from town had come to praise the brilliant girl who had tutored their children. Through it all, Teacher Julius nodded and wiped his eyes at appropriate moments, playing his role perfectly. He was the picture of a caring educator mourning a promising student. But Mama Adama watched him with the focused attention of a hunter tracking dangerous prey. She saw how his eyes moved constantly, scanning the crowd as if looking for potential threats. She noticed how his hands trembled slightly when people mentioned Adama's purity and innocence. Most telling of all, she saw how he avoided looking directly at the coffin, as if even he could not face what his actions had led to. When the speeches ended, Pastor Emmanuel prepared to begin the final prayers. But before he could speak, Mama Adama stood up. The movement was so sudden and unexpected that a hush fell over the entire gathering. All eyes turned to the grieving mother, expecting perhaps a final farewell to her beloved daughter. "I have something to say," Mama Adama announced, her voice carrying clearly across the silent crowd. "Something that needs to be said before we put my daughter to rest." Pastor Emmanuel looked surprised but nodded respectfully. "Of course, Mama Adama. Please, share what is in your heart." Mama Adama reached into her bag and pulled out the letter, holding it high so everyone could see. "Last night, I found a letter that my daughter had hidden under her pillow. A letter that explains why she chose to leave this world at such a young age." Murmurs began to ripple through the crowd. This was unexpected. Most people had assumed that Adama's death was due to the pressure of upcoming examinations or perhaps some unknown illness. "My daughter did not die from sickness," Mama Adama continued, her voice growing stronger with each word. "She did not die from academic pressure or bad luck or any of the reasons we have been telling ourselves. My daughter died from shame that was forced upon her by someone in this very gathering." The murmurs grew louder, and people began to shift uncomfortably in their seats. This was not the gentle farewell they had expected. This was beginning to sound like an accusation. Teacher Julius, who had been sitting in the second row with other respected community members, began to look nervous. He leaned forward slightly, as if trying to hear better, but his face had gone pale beneath his dark skin. "Should I read the letter?" Mama Adama asked the crowd. "Should I share with all of you the real reason why the brightest star in our village chose death over life?" "Yes," called out someone from the back. "We deserve to know the truth." Others began to nod and murmur agreement. Whatever had driven their beloved Adama to such desperation, they wanted to understand. Mama Adama unfolded the letter with steady hands. "This is what my daughter wrote. My dearest Mama, if you are reading this, then I am gone, and you are wondering why your daughter chose death over life." She paused, letting the words sink in, then continued reading. With each sentence, the crowd grew more agitated. By the time she reached the part about Teacher Julius, several people were gasping audibly. "The father is Teacher Julius Okafor," Mama Adama read clearly. "Yes, Mama, the same man we trusted to educate me. The same man the whole village respects." The same man who is married with children of his own. The effect was immediate and explosive. People began shouting, some in disbelief, others in anger. All eyes turned to teacher Julius, who had gone from pale to ashen gray. This is impossible," he stammered, rising to his feet. The girl was obviously disturbed, probably mentally ill. Everyone knows that students under examination pressure sometimes have delusions. "You cannot possibly believe." "Sit down," roared Chief Okoro, the village leader, his voice cutting through the chaos like a blade. "Let the woman finish reading." Teacher Julius remained standing, but he looked like a man who wanted nothing more than to run away. His expensive suit was now soaked with sweat, and his hands shook visibly. Mama Adama continued reading the letter, her voice never wavering even as she described the most painful details of her daughter's abuse. When she finished, the silence was so complete that even the birds seemed to have stopped singing. Then she reached into her bag again and pulled out the photographs. "My daughter was very intelligent," she said, holding up the pictures so people in the front rows could see them. "She documented everything. She knew that people might not believe her word against a respected teacher's, so she gathered evidence." She held up the photograph of teacher Julius's car behind the old church. "Does anyone recognize this car? Does anyone recognize the girl in the back seat?" A woman in the middle of the crowd let out a shriek. "That's my daughter. That's Chioma." She began pushing through the crowd toward the front, her face twisted with rage and disbelief. "And there are more," Mama Adama continued, holding up other photographs. "Pictures of this man with other girls from our village and neighboring communities. My daughter was not his first victim, and she would not have been his last." The crowd was in chaos now. Parents were screaming, men were shouting for justice, and several people were advancing toward teacher Julius with dangerous expressions on their faces. "This is all lies," teacher Julius shouted desperately. "Fabricated evidence. A grieving mother's fantasy. I am a respected educator. I have served this community faithfully for years." But his protests were drowned out by the angry voices of parents who were beginning to remember strange behaviors in their own children, unexplained fears, sudden changes in personality that they had attributed to normal adolescent problems. Chief Okoro stood up and raised his staff for silence. When the crowd grudgingly quieted, he spoke with the authority of his position. "These are very serious accusations," he said solemnly. "If they are true, then we have harbored a monster in our midst while he destroyed our children. But accusations alone are not enough. We must have proper proof before we can pass judgment." "I have proof," Mama Adama said quietly, and her words carried across the silent gathering like thunder. She reached into her bag one final time and pulled out Adama's notebook, the detailed record of every encounter, every threat, every moment of abuse. "My daughter wrote down everything," she said. "Dates, times, what was said, what was done. She recorded it all because she was intelligent enough to know that someday, someone would need evidence to stop him." She opened the notebook to a random page and began to read. "March 15th. Teacher Julius made me stay after class again. He said if I didn't do what he wanted, he would fail me and tell everyone I was a prostitute trying to seduce him for better grades. I was so scared I couldn't stop crying, but he said tears would only make things worse for me." The naked pain in those words, the obvious authenticity of a young girl's terror and confusion, hit the crowd like a physical blow. Even those who had been skeptical began to look at teacher Julius with growing horror and disgust. "More lies," teacher Julius shouted, but his voice cracked with desperation. "A disturbed girl's fantasy. Anyone could have written those things. Where is your proof that I was even involved?" That's when Mama Adama played her final card. She looked directly at teacher Julius and said in a voice that cut through his protests like a knife, "Tell me, teacher, how did you know that my daughter was pregnant?" The question hung in the air like smoke from a fire. Teacher Julius opened his mouth to respond, then closed it again, confusion flickering across his face. "I never said she was pregnant," Mama Adama continued. "In fact, I've been very careful not to mention that detail to anyone in the village. The only people who knew about the pregnancy were my daughter, myself, and the father of the child. Teacher Julius's face went through a series of expressions: confusion, realization, then pure terror as he understood the trap he had walked into. Yet somehow, Mama Adama pressed on. When you offered your condolences just now, you mentioned how tragic it was that we lost both mother and child. How did you know there was a child, Teacher Julius, unless you were the father? The crowd erupted. People surged forward with cries of rage and demands for immediate justice. Teacher Julius found himself surrounded by angry villagers who no longer saw him as a respected educator, but as the monster who had destroyed their children. "Wait!" he screamed, raising his hands to protect himself. "Wait, let me explain. It wasn't like that. She seduced me. She offered herself to me in exchange for help with her fees. I was the victim here." The words were barely out of his mouth when Mama Adama moved with lightning speed. The knife appeared in her hand as if by magic, and before anyone could react, she had pressed the blade against Teacher Julius's throat. "You dare!" she hissed, her eyes blaz. "You dare to speak lies about my dead daughter? You dare to claim that a 17-year-old child seduced you?" The crowd had gone silent again, transfixed by the sight of the grieving mother holding a knife to her daughter's abuser. Some people stepped back in shock, but others pressed closer, as if they wanted to help her finish what she had started. "Please," Teacher Julius whimpered, his earlier confidence completely gone. "Please don't do this. Think about what you're doing. Murder won't bring your daughter back." "You're right," Mama Adama said softly, her voice deadly calm. "Murder won't bring her back, but it will make sure you never hurt another child again." The knife pressed closer to his skin, and a thin line of blood appeared on his throat. In that moment, balanced on the edge between justice and vengeance, the entire village held its breath. But before Mama Adama could complete her act of revenge, a voice rang out from the back of the crowd, a voice that would change everything once again. "Stop! Please stop! There's something else you need to know." All eyes turned to see Chioma running toward them, her face streaked with tears and her eyes wild with fear and determination. "There are others," she screamed as she pushed through the crowd. "Teacher Julius isn't the only one. There are others involved. If you kill him now, the rest will escape." Mama Adama's hand trembled, the knife wavering against Teacher Julius's throat. "What others? What are you talking about?" "The headmaster," Chioma gasped, pointing toward the school official who had been sitting in the honored section with other community leaders. "He knows everything. He's been protecting Teacher Julius and covering up the complaints. And there's a whole network of them, teachers, officials, even some of the church leaders. They've been trading girls between schools for years." The headmaster, realizing he had been exposed, began backing away from the crowd. But several men moved to block his path, their faces grim with understanding. "Is this true?" Chief Okoro demanded, his voice shaking with rage. "Have we been blind to a conspiracy of corruption in our midst? Tell them," Chioma shouted at Teacher Julius. "Tell them about the network. Tell them about the other schools, the other girls. Tell them how you've been destroying children for years while the authorities looked the other way." Teacher Julius, with a knife at his throat and the full weight of his crimes exposed, finally broke completely. The tears that came were not tears of remorse but tears of a cornered predator who saw his hunting grounds disappearing forever. "Yes," he sobbed. "Yes, it's true. But I wasn't the only one. They all knew. The headmaster, the education officials, even some of the parents. They all knew what was happening. But they kept quiet because we brought good examination results. As long as the schools looked successful, nobody wanted to ask too many questions. The confession hit the crowd like a lightning strike. Parents began screaming, demanding to know which of their children had been victims. Community leaders who had been sitting in places of honor suddenly found themselves surrounded by angry villagers demanding explanations. But in the midst of the chaos, something even more shocking was about to be revealed. As the crowd surged toward the headmaster and other suspected conspirators, a small group of teenage girls emerged from behind the church building. They walked slowly, supporting each other, their faces set with the determined expression of those who had decided to speak truth no matter the cost. At the front of the group was a girl that everyone recognized, Mary, the daughter of the village's most respected family, a quiet girl who had always been praised for her modesty and good behavior. "We want to tell our stories too," Mary announced, her young voice carrying clearly over the chaos. "All of us. We want everyone to know what really happened to us and to Adama and to so many others." As the girls arranged themselves in a line facing the crowd, Mama Adama realized that her daughter's death was not just the end of one young life. It was the beginning of the biggest scandal their community had ever faced. The burial ceremony had become a trial, and the trial was about to become a revolution. With the knife still pressed against Teacher Julius's throat and the truth spreading through the crowd like wildfire, Mama Adama found herself at the center of something much larger than her personal quest for revenge. The question now was not whether justice would be served, but whether their entire community would survive the cleansing fire that was about to consume everything they thought they knew about the people they had trusted with their children's futures. The girls stepped forward to begin their testimonies, and Mama Adama knew that before this day ended, nothing in their village would ever be the same again. The afternoon sun cast long shadows across the burial ground as Mary stepped forward, her voice trembling but determined. Behind her, 6 other girls stood in a line, their faces showing the mixture of fear and relief that comes with finally speaking long-buried truths. "My name is Mary Nkemjika," she began, her young voice carrying across the silent crowd. "I am 17 years old, and for the past 2 years, Teacher Julius has been using me." The words hung in the air like smoke from a funeral pyre. Mary's parents, sitting in the honored section with other wealthy families, looked as if they had been struck by lightning. Her father, a successful businessman who had always boasted about his daughter's perfect grades, slowly rose to his feet with his mouth hanging open. "Mary?" he whispered, disbelief clear in his voice. "What are you saying?" "I'm saying that the reason I always had the highest marks in mathematics was not because I was smart," Mary replied, tears streaming down her face. "It was because I paid for those grades with my body, just like Adama did, just like all of us did." She gestured to the girls behind her, and each one stepped forward to share their own story. Grace, the quiet girl from the church choir. Blessing, whose mother worked as a cleaner at the school. Patience, who lived with her elderly grandmother after her parents died. One by one, they spoke of threats, bribes, fear, and shame. With each testimony, the knife in Mama Adama's hand pressed closer to Teacher Julius's throat. The thin line of blood had become a steady trickle, but nobody in the crowd seemed to care about his comfort anymore. "You see," Chioma called out, supporting one of the younger girls who was crying too hard to speak clearly. "This is why Adama couldn't tell anyone. This is why she thought no one would believe her, because it wasn't just one teacher and one student. It was a whole system designed to protect the predators and silence the victims." Chief Okoro, his face dark with rage, turned to the headmaster who was still trying to edge away from the crowd. "You, come here immediately. I can explain." The headmaster stammered as strong hands grabbed his arms and dragged him forward. "You don't understand the pressures we face. The government demands good examination results. The parents want their children to succeed. Sometimes compromises have to be made." "Compromises." Mama Adama's voice was deadly quiet, but it carried across the entire gathering. "You call the rape of children a compromise?" "It wasn't rape," the headmaster protested desperately. "These girls, they came to us willingly. They offered themselves in exchange for better grades. We were helping them succeed." The crowd erupted in fury at his words. Parents who had been sitting in shocked silence suddenly understood that their own children might have been victims. Women began wailing, men started shouting for immediate justice, and several people had to be restrained from attacking the headmaster with their bare hands. But it was Mary's father who moved first. The successful businessman, the man who had always been so proud of his daughter's academic achievements, crossed the space between them in 3 quick strides, and struck the headmaster across the face with a blow that echoed like a gunshot. "My daughter was 14 when her grades suddenly improved," he roared. 14 years old, and you want to tell me she seduced grown men? The headmaster fell to the ground, blood streaming from his nose, but before he could get up, other parents were closing in. These were people who had trusted the school system with their most precious possessions, their children's futures, only to discover that their trust had been betrayed in the most horrific way possible. "Wait!" Chief Okoro commanded, raising his staff high above his head. "We will have justice, but we will have it properly. We are not animals. We are a civilized community." The crowd reluctantly stepped back, but the anger in the air was thick enough to cut with a blade. Everyone wanted blood, but they also wanted answers. "Teacher Julius," Chief Okoro said, turning to the man who was still frozen under Mama Adama's knife, "you will tell us everything. How long has this been happening? How many children have been hurt? Who else is involved?" Teacher Julius, faced with the choice between a quick death from the knife or a slow death from the angry mob, chose to talk. The confession that poured out of him was like poison flowing from an infected wound. For almost 10 years, he revealed, there had been an informal network of educators who traded favors, covered for each other's indiscretions, and moved problem teachers from school to school rather than reporting them to authorities. The system worked because everyone involved had something to lose and something to gain. Teachers got access to vulnerable students. Administrators got good examination results that made their schools look successful. Government officials got reports that showed the education system was working well. And parents got children with impressive academic achievements, even if they didn't ask too many questions about how those achievements were obtained. The girls who couldn't pay school fees were the easiest targets, Teacher Julius said, his voice hollow with defeat. "We knew they were desperate. We knew they had no other options. We told them it was normal, that successful students always had to make sacrifices. And if they refused?" Mama Adama asked, pressing the knife deeper into his skin. "We failed them. We spread rumors about their character. We made sure they couldn't get into other schools. We destroyed their futures anyway, just more slowly." The systematic nature of the abuse was becoming clear, and with each revelation, the crowd's anger grew deeper and more dangerous. This wasn't just about one bad teacher or even one corrupt school. It was about an entire system that had been designed to prey on the most vulnerable children in their community. But the worst revelation was yet to come. "Tell them about the inspectors," Chioma suddenly called out. "Tell them about the government officials who came to investigate and went away satisfied." Teacher Julius's face went even paler. The education inspectors? "Yes. Tell them how you handled the inspections. Tell them what happened to the girls who tried to report you." For a moment, Teacher Julius seemed to wrestle with himself. But with the knife at his throat and nowhere left to run, he finally broke completely. "The inspectors knew," he whispered. "Some of them they were part of it. When they came for official visits, we offered them the same arrangements we offered parents. Good reports in exchange for silence about what they saw." The confession hit like a thunderbolt. Not only had their local educational system been corrupted, but the government officials who were supposed to protect children had been part of the conspiracy. "And the girls who tried to report?" Chief Okoro demanded. They disappeared," Teacher Julius said, his voice barely audible. "Transferred to schools in distant states. Or they had accidents. Or their families suddenly moved away. We made sure they couldn't cause problems." The silence that followed was so complete that even the insects seemed to have stopped humming. The full scope of the evil that had been operating in their midst was finally clear, and it was more vast and more terrible than anyone had imagined. But it was Mama Adama who spoke the words that everyone was thinking. "How many?" she asked, her voice cutting through the silence like a blade through flesh. "How many of our children are dead because of what you did? How many families have buried their daughters without ever knowing the truth?" Teacher Julius couldn't answer. He was crying now, but they were not tears of remorse. They were tears of a man who had finally been caught and knew his hunting days were over forever. "I want to know about every girl," Mama Adama continued, her grip on the knife steady despite the emotion in her voice. "I want to know their names, their families, what happened to them. All of it. I can't remember them all," Teacher Julius sobbed. "There were so many over the years. They all blur together." The casual way he dismissed the lives he had destroyed, reducing traumatized children to a blur of forgotten faces, was the final straw for many in the crowd. People began moving forward again, and this time Chief Okoro didn't try to stop them. But before the mob could reach Teacher Julius, something unexpected happened. Pastor Emmanuel, who had been standing silently beside Adama's coffin throughout the entire confrontation, suddenly spoke up. "There is something else," he said, his elderly voice carrying clearly across the angry crowd. "Something that needs to be said before we decide how to handle this situation." All eyes turned to the old pastor, who had served their community faithfully for over 30 years. If anyone could provide guidance in this moment of crisis, it would be him. "Mama Adama," Pastor Emmanuel said gently, "your daughter's death was not just a tragedy. It was a message from God. A message that the corruption in our midst had to be exposed and cleansed." He gestured toward the coffin where Adama lay in her final rest. "This child died so that other children could be saved. Her death was not meaningless. It was the sacrifice that opened our eyes to the evil we had been ignoring." Mama Adama looked at the pastor, then at her daughter's coffin, then back at Teacher Julius with the knife still pressed against his throat. "What are you saying, Pastor?" "I'm saying that killing this man will not honor your daughter's memory," Pastor Emmanuel replied. "Adama was brilliant. She documented everything because she wanted justice, not revenge. She wanted the system exposed and changed, not just one man punished." The pastor walked slowly toward the center of the gathering, his words heavy with the wisdom of his years. "If we kill Teacher Julius now, he becomes a martyr. The other conspirators can claim he was mentally ill, that he acted alone, that his death proves the problem has been solved. But if we keep him alive to testify, if we force him to name every person involved and every child who was hurt, then we can build a case that will destroy the entire network." The logic was sound, but Mama Adama's heart burned with the need for immediate satisfaction. This man had destroyed her daughter's life and driven her to suicide. How could she let him live when every fiber of her being screamed for vengeance? "My daughter is dead," she said quietly. "She died believing that no one would listen to her, that no one would believe her, that this man was too powerful to be stopped. If I let him live, how do I know he won't find a way to escape justice again?" "Because this time is different," Pastor Emmanuel replied. "This time the whole community knows. This time there are multiple witnesses. This time, the truth cannot be buried or covered up." He gestured toward the girls who were still standing together, supporting each other in their courage. "These brave young women have ensured that the truth will not die with your daughter. But they need Teacher Julius alive to help them identify all the other victims, all the other conspirators." Mama Adama looked around at the faces surrounding her parents demanding justice for their children, community leaders grappling with the scope of the betrayal, and most importantly, the young girls who had found the courage to speak their truth. Slowly, very slowly, she began to lower the knife. "If I spare his life," she said, "I want promises. I want guarantees that justice will be served, not just for my daughter, but for every child who was hurt." "You have them," Chief Okoro declared immediately. "This man will be held until the police arrive. Every person he names will be arrested. Every victim will be heard. And we will not rest until everyone involved in this conspiracy faces the full weight of the law." The knife moved another inch away from Teacher Julius's throat, but Mama Adama wasn't finished. "And I want something else," she continued. "I want a school built in my daughter's name. A school where children can learn without fear, where teachers are chosen for their character as much as their knowledge, where what happened to Adama and these other girls can never happen again." "It will be done," Chief Okoro promised solemnly. "The Adama Memorial School will be built, and it will stand as a reminder of the price we pay when we fail to protect our children. Finally, Mama Adama pulled the knife completely away from Teacher Julius's throat. But instead of stepping back, she leaned closer to him and spoke in a voice that only he could hear. "You will live," she whispered. "But you will spend every remaining day of your life knowing that a 17-year-old girl was braver than you ever were. She died to expose your evil, and her death will save more children than your pathetic life ever could." With that, she stepped back and handed the knife to Chief Okoro. Teacher Julius collapsed to the ground, clutching his throat and sobbing with relief and terror. But the drama wasn't over yet. As the crowd began to process what had just happened, the decision to spare Teacher Julius in favor of exposing the entire conspiracy, a commotion arose from the back of the gathering. 3 black cars had pulled up near the church, and men in official uniforms were getting out. But these weren't local police officers. These were state-level education officials, the same people who were supposed to have been investigating and preventing exactly the kind of corruption that had just been exposed. "We received reports of a disturbance," the lead official announced as he approached the crowd. "We're here to restore order and ensure that proper procedures are followed." Chief Okoro stepped forward to meet them, but his expression was anything but welcoming. "Perfect timing," he said with bitter irony. "We were just discussing how the education system has been failing our children. Perhaps you can explain why your department has been ignoring reports of abuse for so many years." The official's confident expression began to waver as he took in the scene. The angry crowd, the bloodied headmaster, Teacher Julius on the ground, and the line of young girls who were clearly preparing to make formal accusations. "I'm sure there's been some misunderstanding," he said carefully. "These kinds of allegations require proper investigation through official channels. You can't just—" "Official channels?" Mary's father interrupted, his voice thick-wit. "You mean the same official channels that have been covering up the rape of our children for years?" The education official began backing toward his car, but several men from the village moved to block his path. It was becoming clear that the day of reckoning would include more than just the local conspirators. As the sun began to set over the village, Mama Adama found herself at the center of something that had grown far beyond her personal quest for justice. What had started as a mother's grief had become a community uprising, and what had begun as a funeral had become the beginning of a revolution in how they protected their children. The burial ceremony for Adama Akwu was finally completed as the first stars appeared in the darkening sky. But her coffin was surrounded not by the quiet mourning of a traditional funeral, but by the determined voices of people who had decided that no other child would suffer as she had. As they lowered her body into the earth, Mama Adama whispered a final promise to her daughter. "Rest now, my child. Your death has not been in vain. The changes you died for are just beginning." The investigation that followed would eventually expose a network of corruption that reached all the way to the state capital. Dozens of teachers, administrators, and government officials would be arrested. Hundreds of victims would finally have their voices heard, and the Adama Memorial School would become a model for child protection that would be copied throughout the country. But all of that was still to come. For now, as the community gathered around the fresh grave under the star-filled sky, they held on to each other and began the long process of healing from wounds that had been festering in silence for far too long. Teacher Julius was led away in handcuffs, not to his death as Mama Adama had originally planned, but to a life of testimony and accountability that would prove far more valuable than his blood could ever have been. And somewhere in the gathering darkness, the spirit of a brilliant 17-year-old girl finally found the peace that had eluded her in life, knowing that her sacrifice had lit a fire that would burn away the corruption and protect the children who would come after her. Her mother's tears had been just the beginning. But now, with justice finally flowing like a river through their community, those tears could begin to heal. The story of Adama Akwu was over, but the legacy of her courage was just beginning to change the world. To be continued.